Were you raised by your father and mother?
My father's mother were there.
Your father and mother?
Mother was around with me right until I was 12.
Your mother died or something, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, she died at 12.
So yes, I was.
Was
really
she
12.
angry?
You know, she left. It's a personal story, but she left a diary, writing until to the point where she could no longer write the diary. And we read, a message in one of those pages. Like, I'm sure she was going through all different emotions.
Yeah.
And one day she was writing, "Why is it happening to me?" Just that particular line I remember. And she was also worried if her children would remember her as they get to be older.
Oh. And do you remember her?
I have these fragments of memories, like when she's working in the kitchen, she's dressed in kimono, but my memory of her voice has got a little blurry, which I feel quite ashamed.
Why?
I try to remember, remembering is so important for us, for our tradition too.
Oh, yeah. It's important to remember your mother?
Oh, our family.
Oh.
Asians, all Asians, Japanese included, we have this family value that put us together.
I noticed that Japanese women are real mean and controlling. Why is that? Have you noticed that?
I know, some American men come, and then Japanese girls, women, we are quite conscious of how we dress, how we talk, and then there's certain culture in Japan where we have to always be respectful to the society, and more like kind of, I don't know, it's a compliance culture, you could say. It's, like we comply with the social norm, what's expected at the time. Even during this COVID, right? We have COVID-19, and we're expected to wear masks. We're expected to follow the social rules, and not complying with it. It's just not only, whether it poses risk or not. It's more of a social thing.
Right.
Like you are not really complying or being a part of the good community member or something like that.
So do the Chinese men comply to the women, or do the women comply to the men?
I think that still exists. I don't want to make it sound like Japan has really got modernized. I mean, although there is a lot of influence from the United States,
Yeah.
The dynamic between women and men they're still what I would call something that has become a part of cultural norm. So there are people who would feel the discomfort, something wrong about it, but approaching it is like kind of going against the very culture itself sometimes. And that, you can imagine, is very, very challenging and difficult.
You were married before, right?
Yes.
And you had a child? Mm-hmm. And a son?
Yes.
And how old is your son now?
He's 8.
He's 8 years old? When you were married, did your wife control you or you control her?
I think it went both ways because we need it. And I feel I feel sorry that, like maybe it's just the way I was raised as the youngest. I mean, I am pretty, how would I say, when I set my goal, right, and this is what I will do, I tend to go right to the goal. And marriage was, I think it still is, even today, co-parenting. It's a lesson of compromising, understand. And compromising that happens rather naturally. But I wasn't, I have to say, I was just so focused. I wasn't being a good listener.
To your wife? But you know why, right? Mm-hmm. Because women talk too much. Do you agree? Are they like this all the time?
I like that particular expression. I know it's probably quite controversial, but why women are so like mad or crazy around men is because all men are basically stupid.
Is that what they say?
That's just one thing we saw on somewhere. Was it social media?
Yeah.
I said, okay, what kind of makes sense?
Who is stronger, men or women? Who is the strongest?
In what term?
Period. Who is strongest? Who is the strongest, men or women, in dealing with life?
I mean, no doubt, physically, men tend to have.
How about emotionally?
I often think of biological cycle too. Some say men are more vulnerable because they don't have this cycle, natural cycle. Women do have a longevity, right?
You know why, right? Because they kill men. Men don't know how to handle them.
That's an interesting question. That's an interesting that comes, I hear from, let's say, somebody who's Christian, because, Buddhism does have a little, like, sort of a monastic-based way of life, but then Christianity, the part of Christianity that I experienced is all about relationship with the God.
Yeah.
And the relationship with all the brotherhood, right?
Right.
And that focus on that relationship is something I admire, and I personally really like about that focus. Yeah.
How long were you married for?
4 years, I believe, 4 years, yeah.
4 years? Yeah. And did you divorce your wife or she divorced you?
I feel a little bit, I feel a little bit uncomfortable, to be honest.
Okay,
because
well,
this is
I understand.
public, but I know.
If you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to.
Okay.
Yeah, no problem.
Because I think there are differences in interpretations and what legally happened. So. Yeah.
Right. Will you ever marry again?
To be honest, no.
I don't blame you.
No, I just, I do, I don't know if, I say sometimes it's just a Confucianist culture that when we have a child, and I didn't realize I would just so be attached to my son. And I like, like I'm a Buddhist person, right?
You were so what?
No, I do love
You say you were
son.
attached to him or you were not?
Huh?
You were attached to your son, but you were not.
Wherever we are and whatever happens in our life, I made a pledge, a vow, to dedicate my rest of my life to my son.
Right on.
And that's
amazing.
I was surprised at that myself too.
That's amazing.
I wasn't sure what kind of parent I would be.
That's good.
Yeah.
And so, does he live with you or with your ex?
He's with his mom, but he's legally eligible to live in California too, in case if anything happens. But he's a Canadian citizen, so he can live there with no problem.
Oh.
The only thing was that I have Japanese nationality,
Right.
but I don't have any kind of legal footing, neither in Canada or here.
Oh.
So
you were married to a Canadian and not a Chinese?
No.
Not a Japanese?
No.
Is Chinese and Japanese the same? Are they the same?
I say some people are similar, of course. There's always exceptions, but as a whole, I think there's difference, of course.
So you were married, you had an interracial marriage? Mm-hmm. What the?
That's the response I got from my congregation in Japan.
Why you didn't marry your own kind? Ain't you mean, huh?
I think I wanted my son to be, no offense to American friends, but Canadian.
Oh, yeah?
Yes.
And why?
It comes from my deep respect to that country. I know
that makes sense.
There's no country that's perfect.
Right.
Acknowledging that, I fully respect the country.
Have you ever lived in Canada?
Yeah.
Oh, you lived there? Mm-hmm. Oh, I see. Well, that makes sense. Amazing.